At first, it was books. Now it's movies. And it's games. It's a thing. It's something that will always continue to happen. So if you don't know, at the start of Jurassic Park in 1993, not the Jurassic World movies, starting after that guy gets killed, the guy who meets the fat guy, Dodgson here, that got repurposed as the mock Apple CEO, whatever. The guy, Dodgson, the actor who played him got convicted for molesting a teenage girl. Thinking about E.T. or Matilda, the book Matilda, where apparently it's been changed so the evil dad no longer sounds as racist. E.T., here's some guns. Oh no, I changed my mind. It was stupid. Let's remove the guns. How likely is it for people to just CGI the pedophile out of the historically, momentously significant movie from the early 90s? I think it's very, very likely. I think that just like video game re-engines, updates, blah, 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 you're going to see shifts. You're going to see changes everywhere. Kevin Spacey got literally replaced by some other actor last minute. So many other things exist that have problematic people in them. Sooner or later, some asshole is going to decide we should not only just erase these problematic people from history and replace them with actors, we should also slightly tilt the language a bit to make it more modern and more suitable for people who I converse with in my cocktail parties. Yeah. And all of a sudden, all the color and the vibrancy and the attitudes of past decades will stop using technology that's been gradually perfected over decades. That's just gonna need to alter an existing image a little bit. That technology is going to be used to erase certain concepts. And when you subtract certain concepts from very old movies, you make the remaining concepts appear more extreme, more dangerous, like something you should suppress using anti-free speech legislation, while complaining about incels that are the result of people cutting off Western media. Like, when I was a kid, I barely had any friends, right? I moved on to high school. I made friends with this one dude. We were best buddies. And we ended up hanging out at this studio of this Bulgarian gaming show. And one time I brought my cat for some reason because they wanted bring your pet day, and like my cat got loose, and there's a clip somewhere out there on the internet where I'm chasing a cat in a Bulgarian gaming show, whatever, like actual gaming, video games. That was pop culture. That was where you hung out. Now all the people like me, but were or have actual more significant issues, they're either gonna watch anime or just listen to stories about people complaining about all the people harassing all the people who have a problem with how comic books have changed, how video games are changing. So the exact same people who are altering the history of our culture, who are mutating concepts, who are turning Luke Skywalker from a hero to some bleak mythic hero, and fucking around and don't know what James Bond is, and sometimes even don't know what racism is, even though they're black. Like, all these people, all these crazy morning show people, these people are going to, who complain about the existence of incels, these people are going to have enough power to control history, cultural history, to manipulate you into thinking X, Y, and Z positions are unacceptable. MasterCard, one of the two, well, now three because China's involved, one of the three biggest credit card companies on the planet, where every other credit card company has to work either with Visa or MasterCard or the Chinese thing because of their networks and how the infrastructure for credit cards worldwide has been set up. MasterCard, which in the late 2000s had an ad about Dad said give him a blowjob, or I should give him a blowjob, or he himself would come down there to give him a blowjob. Just tell him to take his damn hand off the intercom. That was a MasterCard joke. That was a MasterCard ad. That MasterCard is removing your ability to pay for porn. It's blacklisting certain porn sites. Another thing, some woman once dated a billionaire 10, 15 years ago and has kids with him, but she doesn't get money from him and she doesn't own millions of dollars of real estate. She's not hiding shit. Her bank, Duchess Tolstoy, I think her name was, her bank refused to manage refused her service. All of a sudden stopped working. Like froze her accounts. Not based on their own information, but based on the false information from an independent company that does background checks, and the independent company did background checks not based on actual evidence, but based on crowdsourcing information, based on sourcing information from the internet. And even though the bank had access to her records to see, no, I don't have $200 million in some account from my ex-boyfriend's money, and I have absolutely nothing to do with Russia right now, that woman had to go to the fucking news to get her shit sorted out. Because some third-party company lied about her based on lies from other countries' articles about her, scandalous bullshit articles, which, as far as that company knew, were generated by AI. Oh, and the news companies, they've been using AI to generate information, fake stories, for months. Automatically writes these stories for years. For years. This is a very well-known fact. Every major company you can think of probably has 10 or 12 or 100 bots inventing articles for them. You can never trust what you're seeing, and the rich and the powerful can decide what you're seeing. Information is no longer credible, and pop culture is being gradually erased and shapeshifted based on the whims of the people who don't know how to make a movie, to make a TV show, to make a game, and constantly vilify the very people who are fans of pop culture based on arbitrary bullshit, because over a decade ago, Access Media got its panties in twist because people didn't like Zoe Quinn exploiting Robin Williams' death to sell her dumb game, and they didn't like some bitch calling people nostalgic because T4 is shit, even though Dishonored came out almost a year earlier and everybody fucking loved Dishonored at the time. And she should have fucking known better, but she wasn't a gamer, so she didn't know what the fuck she was talking about. And when people called them out on it, it began the snowball of bullshit. The snowball of bullshit. How much of a snowball of bullshit political changes will accumulate over time? What will the movies from the 80s look like in a few decades' time because they're already being changed in terms of color palette. What happens when they start using AI to make characters say different things? Here's the 8K version of Aliens 2. Here's a product placement from our company. We've always been there, trust us. History will be altered. It's just a matter of time until it's altered to a point where it's unrecognizable.